So once we have discrete distributions to work with, how do we work with them? How do we glean information from them? So I have here a probability distribution table for a random variable x, where x represents the number of encounters with a troll online, a troll meaning someone who's engaged in harassment or behaviors that are otherwise trying to get a rise out of people to harass them or intimidate them. And this is from a sample of 50 people who are habitual social media users. So to interpret this, what we're saying is, assuming this sample is representative, this line, for instance, is saying that the probability that someone encounters 3 trolls online per month is roughly 0.10. Is 0.10, meaning about 10% of users encounter a troll 3 times a month. And so now we can actually find probabilities from this distribution table. So for instance, what's the probability that someone... So let's ask it this way. Question: what is the probability of encountering no more than 4 trolls a month? So we're asking for the probability that x is less than or equal to 4, which if we're writing that out, literally we're saying the probability that we encounter none plus the probability that we encounter 1, and so on until we have all the possible outcomes up to and including 4. And so we would be adding up these 4 probabilities. So that's 0.34 plus 0.22 plus 0.16 plus 0.10 plus 0.06. And if you have a calculator handy, you can actually find that value, keeping in mind that you know you've done it correctly if it's something that is less than 1. Because what we're doing is we're taking an event, namely x is less than or equal to 4, and we're finding its probability. And it's still subject to all the rules that we learned in the previous chapter. So if there was any overlap, we'd have to account for that. But luckily for us, this distribution table, and because it's a discrete distribution, allows us to not worry too much about any overlap. We can just find the specific probabilities we want and add them together if necessary, right? Which also means that we can use things like the rule of complements. So if we wanted to find the probability of at least 1 troll a month, right? So that's the probability of x being greater than or equal to 1, which is probability of x equals to 1 plus the probability of x equals to 2, all the way down, which you notice is quite a bit of work. Or we can use the rule of complements and think about the complementary event. So the complementary event to x being greater than or equal to 1 is none. So we can think of this as 1 minus the probability that x equals 0. Because what we're doing then is instead of taking all of these and adding them together, we're just going to take the one that's left out and subtract that from 1. So 1 minus 0.34, which is 0.66.